Good morning, children. I'm happy to see you again. Before starting our class, I would like to ask you a question. Which organ in our body help us to see the beautiful things around us? I can hear your answers. The answer what you are saying, that is eyes. Yes, eyes help us to see the beautiful things around us. Can you see all the objects without light? No, we cannot see because the light falls on the object, gets reflected, bounces back to our eyes. That is, it reaches our eyes, and in the eyes we have the optical nerves which can able to send information to the brain and recognize the object. So here I hope you can understand what topic I am going to start. Yes, today we are going to learn about another lesson in physics is nothing but light. So first we learn what is light. So light is a form of energy. So it is a form of energy and it always travel in a straight line. When you focus something, you can see the light will go only in the straight line. So we have studied in lower classes about the reflection of light over the polished surface and rough surface. This reflective property of light, this reflection property of light are used in many places in our day-to-day life. In this class, we are going to learn about types of mirrors like spherical mirrors and parabolic mirrors. Also, we are going to study about the laws of reflection, the laws of refraction and optical devices, some optical devices like periscope, kaleidoscope, which works based on this principle. So here we go to the lesson now. I am going to start with a small introduction. We are going to learn about mirrors. So we know that mirrors we are using in our day-to-day life, it is used in various purposes in our life. So what is a mirror? Mirror is an optical device with a polished surface. Mirror is an optical device with a polished surface which reflects the light falls on it. So we are using mirrors in our daily life. You can see your place, your face or whatever you stand in front of it is very clear image it is creating. So a typical mirror is coated with, that is it will be coated with a silver or aluminum on one of its side where the object will be appeared, it will be reflected back. So that is called as mirror. So I repeat again, I just give a small definition about mirror. So mirror is an optical device with a polished surface which reflects the light falls on it. So it is coated with a silver or aluminum on one of its sides to reflect the images, to bring out the images, otherwise it won't be. You can see the glass windows, the difference between the glass windows and the mirror what we are using. The glass windows will be plain, nothing will be coated. So you can see the other side, whereas in the mirror also is also a glass, it is a glass sheet. So there it is coated, one side will be coated with silver or aluminum for the reflection of the light. So here mirrors have a plain surface or a curved surface. Mirrors have a plain surface or it will be a curved surfaces. Curved mirrors have surfaces that are either spherical, cylindrical, ellipsoid or parabolic. So the curved mirrors have the surfaces like this also. So the type of the image can be produced, that is the shape of the mirror determines the type of the image it produces. I can say here a plain mirror can produce a perfect image, whereas this curved mirrors produces the image that are either diminished or enlarged. You can see, we have seen in the various places, like just you can have a spoon also. I will teach you when you come to that part. I will explain you what is that. So just we know the introduction about what is mirror, what are the types of mirrors we have. So mirrors are of two surfaces, plain mirror and curved mirror. Curved mirror, the surfaces will be spherical, cylindrical, ellipsoid and parabolic. So the surfaces will define the shape of the object. So that's all about the mirrors. So I have given the introduction about the mirror. So what is a mirror? Mirror is an optical device with a polished surface which produces image, which reflects the light falls on it, and we have two types of surfaces. The mirrors have two surfaces, one is plain and curved. Plain will produce a perfect image, whereas curved mirrors produces the image that will be either enlarged or it will be diminished. So now we are going to learn about the spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors. In this, what is spherical mirrors? A spherical mirror is a one type of curved mirrors. A spherical mirror is a one form of curved mirrors. If a curved mirror is a part of a sphere, just you take a sphere, okay, this part is called a spherical mirror. So, if in a curved mirror, a part of it is made up of a part of a sphere, then it is called as spherical mirror. One side of this mirror is coated or silvered or coated with silver or aluminum, whereas the reflection of light occurs in the other side. So this is called as spherical mirrors. If a curved mirror is a part of a sphere, it is a sphere, it is a part of a sphere. Okay, in a curved mirror, it is a part of a sphere, then it is called as spherical mirror. One part is, I can just draw this rays to show that is silvered, or it is coated with silver or aluminum. The other part, other side is for reflection of light. So we are going to learn the spherical mirrors. We are going to learn about concave mirror. Concave mirror, and another mirror is convex mirror. So the concave mirror, here a spherical mirror in which the reflection of light occurs at the concave surface is called as concave mirror. So here I can draw, this is, you can see a cave like structure here. So this is the concave surface and this is the reflecting surface. So this is the reflecting surface, okay, and the other side the reflection will occur. So this is convex, here the reflection will occur. So here it is inside, this is convex. I can understand, you can understand this is like a cave, so it is concave, whereas the convex will be opposite to that. So the bulging side will be the reflection part. So here the cave part will be the reflection part, here the bulging side will be the reflection part. So what is concave mirror? A spherical mirror in which the reflection of light occurs at its concave surface is called as concave mirror. Here the object will be big when it goes closer to that. So it will be magnify the object. So this is used in the beauty shops for shaving purpose and all the other purposes by doctors, dentists and so on. Whereas what is convex mirror? A spherical mirror in which the reflection of light occurs at its convex surface is called as convex mirror, and here the object will be small than the image will be small than the object. So you can see the small size of the object. So this is about the concave mirror and convex mirror. So we are learning about the spherical mirrors. In that we studied what is a spherical mirror. A curved mirror, a spherical mirror is a part of a curved mirror, that is, it is a part of a curved mirror. If a curved mirror is a part of a sphere, then it is called a spherical mirror. Now in that we have studied about concave mirror and convex mirror. These two comes under the spherical mirrors. Concave mirror, here the reflection of light occurs at its concave surface. Reflection of light occurs at its concave surface. I will write here so that you can make a note. So here the reflection of light occurs where? At its concave, like a cave part, concave surface. So this is called as concave mirror. It is used, it able to show the object in a larger way. It is the normal way, larger way. So it is called as, it is used for by the dentist and so on. The next is convex mirror. Reflection of light occurs at its, I'll just take convex surface. So here the object, so the image will be small than the object. So this is about the concave and convex mirror. Now we are going to learn about the other mirror is nothing but the parabolic mirror. We are going to learn about parabolic mirror. Parabolic mirror is also it is in the shape of parabola. It is in the shape of parabola, and it is also one type of curved mirror. Parabolic mirror is in the shape of parabola, and it also a one type of curved mirror. It has a concave reflecting surface. So it will have a concave reflecting surface, and this surface what happens? It directs the incident beam of light to converge at a focal point. So you can see whenever the lens we have played, we have used the lens to to direct the sunlight to a particular focal point. That is, for example, just I am saying for an example, but this is lens. Lens is different from mirror. So when a sun rays or something falls on this lens, this will meet at a particular point. This point we call as focal focus, principal focus, or we call as focal point. So this is the way how the parabolic mirrors also works. When a ray of light, this is the ray of light, the instant, this is incident on the mirror, this parabolic mirror, and here it will returns back. Here I have seen after the lens it's coming out, but here in the parabolic mirror what happens after falling on the focus, it returns back. Here the focus will be there, so that it will be used. You can see in the solar cookers, solar water heaters, how they are used. They are using this type of mirrors to get the heat. That's the thing. So parabolic mirrors will be in the shape of parabola, and it is also a one type of curved mirrors. And what type of surface it has? It has a concave reflecting surface, so that this surface directs a beam of light to converge, that is to join at one particular place to a focal point. So this is the way it works. So parabolic mirrors are also called as parabolic reflectors. They are also called as parabolic reflectors, as they are used to converge or project light energy, heat energy, sound energy and radio waves. They are used in reflecting telescopes, radio telescopes, parabolic microphones, and they are also used in the solar cookers and solar water heaters. That's all about this parabolic mirrors. It is very clear. I am not going to deal a big thing. It is very simple and very clear for you, I hope so. So far we have studied about the spherical mirrors and types of spherical mirrors. In the spherical mirrors we have studied about two types. One is curved mirrors, spherical mirrors and parabolic mirrors. The spherical mirrors we studied about the concave mirror and convex mirror. Also we studied about the parabolic mirrors. So till this it is clear for everyone. Now we are going to learn about another important topic, that is the terms related to the image formation of the spherical mirrors in the ray diagram. First you should know what is a ray diagram. So we are going to learn an important terms which we use in the ray diagram during the formation of images. So terms used in the ray diagram. During the image formation of image formed by the spherical mirrors. First you should know what is a ray diagram. So ray diagram is a very simple representation. It is a simple or symbolic representation of the image formation by the spherical mirrors. So this is called as ray diagram. Whenever you see, they will draw a ray like this and the light will falling like this. So this is just a very simple ray diagram, so that you can able to understand how it gets reflected or how it gets refracted by the spherical mirrors and the image is formed. So this is called as ray diagram. So in this we are going to learn a very important terms which we use in the ray diagram. The first term is nothing but center of curvature. So when I take a spear, when you draw a spear, you need a center point. You need a center point. So a center point of the spear from which a mirror is made. Is called center of curvature, and this point is called as, is denoted by the letter C. So what is center of curvature? Center of curvature is a point from which a mirror is made. Is a center of the spear from which a mirror is made. It is noted by the letter capital C. This is center of curvature. Whenever you draw your ray diagram, you first draw the center of curvature. The next term what we are going to learn is pole. What is pole? So here the mirror is here. We can see I have drawn a mirror. This mirror have a center part. This is called as pole. The center of the mirror is called as pole. It is denoted by the letter P. The center of the mirror is called pole, and it is denoted by the letter P, capital P. Now the next term, so this is center of curvature and this is pole. So now you are going to learn about the other the other term. The third term is radius of curvature. What is this radius of curvature? You know what is radius in the circle. So here the distance between the center of curvature and the pole is called as radius of curvature. It is denoted by the letter R. So the distance between the center of curvature and the pole is called as radius of curvature, and it is denoted by the letter R. Just we won't use this radius of curvature. We can use small letter also. It's not a problem at all. Capital R or small R, both are. Radius will be mentioned in smaller usually. Okay, so this is called as radius of curvature. The next term. So I'll write here distance between. I'll write in a short form C and P. You know what is C now? C is center of curvature and P is pole. The next term we are going to learn is nothing but principal axis. Here you can see a line joining center of curvature and the pole. It is an imaginary line. So a line joining the center of curvature and the pole is called as principal axis, and it is denoted by the letter capital F. Sorry. So there is no definition for the principal axis. There is no letter for principal axis. Just you know it is a line. It is an imaginary line joining the center of curvature and the pole. The next one is principal focus. So here you should understand. I said already in the while during the parabolic mirrors there is a focal point where all the rays will either converge or diverge. So when a beam of light is incident on a spherical mirrors, the light may be diverge or converge at a particular point. That point is called as principal focus or focal point, or it is also called as focus. So it is a particular point where all the light will converge or diverge. That is called as principal focus, and this only is denoted by the letter F, capital F. So we have one more term is there that after completing we just have a recall of what are the terms we have studied. The next one is focal focal length. So let me have here the focus. For the focus will be here or some other place, we can't just mention. I just, for example, I have written F. Okay. Now we are going to learn about the focal length. Focal length is nothing but the distance between the focal point and the pole. So it is always half of this radius of curvature. So the distance between the focal and the what is this pole. So distance between F and P, and it is always half of the radius of curvature. So it is denoted by the letter small f. It is denoted by the letter small f. Whereas this principal focus is denoted by the letter capital F. This is denoted by the letter small f. So f is equal to, always it is half of the radius of the curvature. So you can write as r by 2. That is radius of curvature divided by 2. So that's all about the terms what we studied. I'll just recall the terms, what are the things we studied. So first you should know what is a ray diagram. The ray diagram is a symbolic representation of image formed by the spherical mirrors or lenses, whatever it may be. So in that we are going to learn about the center of curvature. We studied about the center of curvature, the center of the sphere from which a mirror is made. So here it is a sphere. From this a mirror, a part of the sphere, a mirror is made is called as, this is a center from which a mirror is made is called as center of curvature. It is denoted by the letter C. The next term we studied is pole. Pole is the center of the mirror. It is a geometric center of the spherical mirror. It is denoted by the letter P. And the next term we studied is radius of curvature. The distance between C and P. What is C? Is center of curvature and pole. The distance between the center of curvature and the pole is called as radius of curvature. And the next term we studied is principal axis. A line joining center of curvature and pole is called as principal axis. It is an imaginary line. We can't say the lines, we can't see the lines properly, just the ray diagram we are mentioning. The next is principal focus. Here the principal focus is nothing but when a beam of light incident on the spherical mirrors, it will either converge or diverge at a particular point. That point is called as principal focus, or otherwise called as focal point. That is called as focal point. It is denoted by the letter capital F. Then the next term we studied is focal length. The focal length is nothing but the distance between F and P. The distance between F and P is called as focal length. It is always half of the radius of the curvature. So F, that is denoted by the small letter F, and here radius of curvature by 2 is the formula to find the focal length. Based on this you have two problems in this lesson. So we will deal the lesson at the last of this lesson. Now we are going to learn about, so we have studied how what are the terms we use in the ray diagram. Now we are going to learn about image formed by the spherical mirrors. Image formation of the spherical mirrors. Image formation. Here the image formed by the spherical mirrors are of two types. One is real image, other one is virtual image. The images formed by the spherical mirrors may be of two types. One is real image and other one is virtual image. So here real image is nothing but can be formed on the screen. You can able to see on the screen, whereas virtual image cannot form on the screen. So real images can be formed on the screen. It can able to project on the screen. You can able to see the images. When an object is projected, it can able to see the images, whereas virtual images cannot be caught on the screen. It does not form on the screen. Virtual images cannot be formed on the screen. Okay. Then image formed by the convex mirrors. Image formed on the convex mirrors is always erect. It will be always virtual, and it is always erect and diminished in size. It will be small in size. As a result, images formed by these mirrors cannot be projected in the screen. The next one is, that is convex mirrors produces an images. I just write here. Convex mirror. Should understand, don't get confused. Convex mirrors will be virtual, it will always project a virtual erect. Erect means it will be straight, not upside down, straight, and diminished in size. This is the nature of the images. Whereas concave mirror will produce a real inverted it will produce magnified and diminished images that is depends upon the position of an object. So it will be magnified, either magnified or diminished, depends on position of object. So it will form, the image will be formed depends upon, either it will be a concave mirror or convex mirror. It depends upon the position of the image varies, depends upon the size, depends upon the position of an object, and nature of the image also will be produced. So here we are going to learn some ray diagrams, how we get, and there is a tabular column given, they just given a tabular column. So I will just draw and show you, you can understand, I hope so. First we will go for the tabular column given, that is table 3.2, image formed by concave mirror. So I said about the image formation here, it produces, spherical mirrors produces two images, real and virtual. Real images can be seen on the screen, whereas virtual images cannot be formed on the screen. The next. So here the convex mirror, when the object is kept in front of the convex mirror, the image form will be always virtual, erect and diminished, so it cannot be captured, cannot be projected on the screen. Whereas concave mirror, it will be real, inverted, it may be diminished or magnified, depends upon the position of an object. So this is the content of that paragraph what is given in your book. It is given so elaborately, it is very simple to understand. Now we are going to learn how to draw a ray diagram. We are going to learn the tabular column 3.2, just they gave in words. I will just draw and show you the ray diagrams, so it will be easy for you to understand. So image formed by concave mirror. The second tabular column I am going to deal now. So when the object is placed at infinity means you can't say a particular place, at infinity. This is the position of an object. So the image is formed at F. F is nothing but the focus or principal focus. So what is the size? What is the size of the image? Will be highly diminished. And what is the nature? It will be real and inverted. So I will just draw a ray diagram for this so that it will be easy for you to understand. The basic thing, this is a concave mirror here, this is the reflecting surface. So I just draw here. This is a reflecting surface. Here the center of curvature is C, and here we have pole. And I draw a principal axis joining the line, and here when an object is kept at infinity, let it be as A, I name this object as AB. When the object is kept at infinity, it starts to direct towards the lens, and here, sorry, mirror, and here also it starts to project. Here what happens, it gets and it meets at a point at F. So I will draw the arrow marks so that it will be easy for you to understand. So it meets at a point F, here the image will be formed. So at infinity, That is, an object is kept at infinity and the image is formed at f. F is nothing but the focus point, and it is, what is the size of the image will be highly diminished, and what is the nature of the image will be real and inverted. So this is the ray diagram I have drawn for this. The next ray diagram I am going to draw. Second one they gave us. Now it is at infinity. The next one is beyond C. Beyond C is beyond center of curvature if an object is placed. If an object is placed beyond C, where it will, the image will be formed. The image will be formed between C and F. So what is the size of the image? It will be diminished. It will be small. And what is the nature of the image? Will be, this also will be real and inverted. So we can draw a ray diagram for this also. Draw a concave mirror. Here, this is the principal axis, pole, then this is center of curvature. Let me have the focus point. And here, this is beyond C, means the object is kept here. So I can name it as A, B. So this is the basic thing now. We are, the arrow, the mark is, a ray is passing over and it passes through the focal point, and the other ray will pass through center of curvature. Here the image will be formed as the inverted way. So I am writing here is B dash, A dash to show that is a real and inverted image. So the arrow marks will be easy. I hope you can understand. So when a ray of light passes from the object, when it is kept beyond C, the object is kept at beyond C. C is center of curvature, beyond that it is kept. So it forms an image at between C and F, which will be real and inverted. The next one, at C, when an object is kept at C. So the image also will be formed at C, and the size of the image will be highly magnified. When it comes closer, sorry, it is highly magnified. Sorry, it will be at same size. At C it will be at same size. Same size. Now the image will be also real and inverted. So we'll draw the ray diagram. A concave mirror, principal axis, pole. This is C. The point what we are drawing is C. Here the object is kept at C, right? Then this is A, B. Now here we will draw the F point as well as the C point. Here the ray will direct So little bit confusion we have because the space is so small. Here the image will be formed at C itself. So I can write here as B dash, A dash, so that it will meet at F. So I have dropped here, this is F and this C also. So it will be forming the image like this. A little bit confused one, but you can understand very clearly that it is meeting at a point here at C. It passes through C as well as F. This is P. So I am not going to explain everything. It is very clear. Just to know, to understand, you will learn elaborately about this ray diagrams in your higher classes. Just I have drawn a few diagrams for you to understand. The next one is between C and F, and an object is kept between C and F. The position of the image will be beyond C, and it is the shape will be, the size will be magnified, it will be real and inverted. Also at F, so they are given the position of the object at particular, when it comes closer, what happens? The object will be magnified. That is the thing in the concave mirror. Whereas in convex mirror also they are given the tabular column. I hope you can understand, but you need not to worry about all these ray diagrams. Just to make you understand, I have drawn. If you learn what is given in the book, that's enough, right? So you will learn elaborately about this light, that is the drawing about the ray diagrams, everything in the higher classes also. So you need not to worry about this one. Don't get confused now. So that's all about this image formation, and we are going to learn about the uses of this spherical mirrors. Where are the convex mirrors are used, where are the concave mirrors are used. So concave mirrors are used while applying makeup or while shaving, so that it will be able to show a magnified image. It will be showing big. When you go to the hotels, you can see a mirror will be kept in the restrooms. That is, it can able to magnify your faces. So now the next is they are used in the torch, searchlights and headlights, as they direct the light in a long distance, to a long distance. They can collect the light from the larger area and focus it into a small spot. Hence they are used in the solar cookers. So it can able to spot at a particular place. And they are used in the head mirrors by doctors to examine the eye. Whenever you go to the doctor for the ENT specialist, you can see they will have a mirror, a mirror, the eye will be big, you can see that. That is nothing but the concave mirror. Eye, ear, nose and throat, as they provide a shadow-free illumination of the organ. They are also used in reflecting telescopes. So these are the uses of the concave mirror. What is there in the book only I am just explaining. The next is convex mirror. Convex mirror are used in the vehicles as rear view mirrors. They are used there. We can see the side mirrors, we say in general side mirrors. In the rear view mirrors, because they give an upright image, that is an erect image. How you are, the same way, it won't be shown in the upside down, it will be upright image, and provide a wider field of vision. They are also found in the hallways of various buildings, including hospitals, hotels. When there is a turn, you can see in the aircraft, you can see a mirror will be kept. That is in the turnings, so that you can able to see the opposite vehicles coming. It will be easy for the drivers to identify where they are. So that is called as hallway mirrors. That is called as hallways. They are usually mounted on the wall or ceilings where hallways make sharp turns. They are used on roads where sharp curves and turns are there. So this is the use of this convex mirrors and concave mirrors we have studied. So I am going to stop this lesson till this topic. We will continue in the next class. I am just recall what are the things we studied. We are dealing with the lesson light, in that we studied about mirrors and types of mirrors, plane and curved mirrors. In the curved mirrors we studied about the spherical mirrors and parabolic mirrors. In the spherical mirrors we studied about concave and convex mirrors and also about the parabolic mirrors. And the next term what we studied is nothing but the terms, the important terms used in the ray diagram while the image is formed by the spherical mirrors. In that we studied about the radius of curvature, focus, principal axis and so many things. Some 6 topics we have studied. You just have a look in your book, so it will be easy to understand. The next we studied about the image formation, how the image is formed. The image formation is done based, that is depends upon the position of an object, and also depends upon the mirrors also. Here it forms 2 images, one is real and other one is virtual images. Real images can be caught on the screen, whereas virtual images cannot be caught on the screen. So this is the difference between real and virtual. So which mirrors will produce real and inverted images? Nothing but the concave mirrors, whereas convex mirrors will always produce virtual erect images. So I have drawn the ray diagrams just for few things in the tabular column, not for everything, and you just go to the tabular column also. The next we studied about the uses of convex and concave mirrors. I hope you can understand this part of the lesson. We will continue in the next class the remaining part of the lesson. Thank you boys.